Hey, there we go.
And we are finally live. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties between Zoom and Facebook and trying to get live. I'm Jessica Gilbert, Director of Community Affairs for Kids Central, and you are joining in with us for Quarantine Conversations. We are glad to have you, and we're really excited to welcome one of our Sumter County families, Sam and Leanna Pretty. So I'm going to hand it over to Caleb. I'm going to introduce everybody that's on the screen really quick, and then we'll get started. I'm sorry about your wait. I have Shalonda McHenry Sims, our Chief Operating Officer at Kids Central. Caleb Stemmel is our Community Relations Specialist for Kids Central. And Sharon Gibbs is our Senior Director of Out-of-Home Care for Kids Central. So Caleb, take it away and introduce us to the Pretties.
Okay. So the Pretties have been foster parents now with us for a year and a half. They have so many children in their home. I think you guys said 9 right now, plus some extras. They take kids in from all over the spectrum. So we're talking 1-year-olds all the way to 15-year-olds, which is amazing. We appreciate what they do. And they're one of just a couple, if I want to highlight that as well. If you are watching right now and you are considering being a foster parent, could you go ahead and hit the like button? And if you are already a foster parent or an adoptive parent, hit the heart button for us so we know who's watching. So we're just going to start this, and essentially it's just going to be a really simple conversation with the Pretties. We're just going to ask them some questions and see how things go. But if you have any questions as you're watching this, feel free to drop those into the chat box, and we'll try to address those just as soon as we can, either at the end or in the conclusion of the video, somebody from Kids Central will get back with you. Okay, so Pretties, thank you guys so much for joining us. Sam, I'm so glad you could make it, and sorry for the delay, but I think it worked out for the best because you're here. Let's start with, if you're comfortable, tell us how you guys got into becoming being a foster parent. Like, what called you to this? How were the classes? What were the classes like? What was the process like of becoming a foster parent? All that jazz.
So what actually drew us to this is my dad is actually adopted, and so I've always known that I was going to be a foster mom, even from the young age of like 5. And so on our first date, I actually told him, I was like, so I want to be a foster mom, and if you're not up for this, then this is it. And he came back for a date number 2, so he was good. And then we got married and started our own life, and decided to start having our own kids. And we went through a little bit of infertility issues, and I finally was just like, I'm not paying a bunch of money for infertility. Foster parenting was up my alley, so this is what we're doing now. And so we became foster parents, and I plan on being a lifer. All my kids know that we will probably always be foster parents. So, yep. Our classes were really awesome. We got to know some amazing other foster parents that have been really, really our rock. Finding the foster parents that we related to in the class, and even we found some that were in Sumter County, even though there's like 8 of us. They've been our rock and our basically our stability and being able to do what we have done. They got us into the church that we go to, which has been really phenomenal with helping, just to support the foster families in the area. They even started a foster closet. So I mean, the Pride classes really helped to connect us with other foster parents and gave us all the information and tools that we needed to kind of be one of those foster parents that takes on a sibling group of 5 right out the gate. With all the training and everything. The Pride classes were amazing.
That's awesome. Okay, so let's go back to that. Your first placement, right? You mentioned it earlier, but for those that nobody else was listening because it was just us. But you said you got a call almost before you got your license,
yep.
Right? And then it was for, what was that first placement like? Just tell us the story.
So we got the call 2 weeks before we were licensed, telling us that they had a sibling group of 5 that needed to be reunited. They were all in separate homes and they needed to be reunited. And so automatically I was just like, me coming from a large sibling group with large age gaps between my younger siblings, that's always my heart. You always keep siblings together no matter what. You do your best to do that. And so we got that call, and it really pulled on my heartstrings like they love to do. And brand new parents, never been parents before, takes on a sibling group of 5.
We both kind of thought that we both came from sibling groups of 4,
Yeah.
I have three siblings. She has three siblings. So like, an additional one. We grew up used to that scenario.
Yeah.
You know, one extra child above it would be okay.
We had lots and lots of bumps in the road along the way, but I'll be honest, I have families that are other family members that are foster parents, and the Kids Central, with the support that we have gotten from them, has been tremendous. Just with making sure that in the beginning we were able to mentally handle 5 children, going from 0 to 5 children, and then being the crazy people we are, going from 5 children to 7 to 9. Kids Central has been awesome in just helping to support us and helping to give us the resources that we need. And even with our association, with connecting us with other foster parents that have been helpful to us as well. So
that's awesome. Way cool. Okay, so we talked about that. What was your first placement like? We talked about that. So one of the things that I think Ms. Sharon actually brought your name up specifically because your story of what happened to you guys through COVID is pretty unbelievable, and I don't think a lot of people recognize all that goes into being a foster parent on a day-to-day basis. The schedule, the visits, all the things, and so could you guys tell us a little bit about, what happened during COVID? I mean, you're sitting in the RV right now. That plays a huge piece in the story. What happened?
Yeah. So everything started shutting down. We found out the school shut down, and I remember looking at my husband and saying, the daycare is going to be next. And I think it was less than an hour after that call, I got the phone call from the daycare that the daycares were going to be closing too. And my next phone call was my boss. And I was like, I have to change my schedule because I have to homeschool now. All of my children, all of them will be home. At that time we had, 7 kids that we were homeschooling. So my boss got really quickly on it, rearranged my schedule. I went to weekends only, and then I'm a nurse, so then I was told that our facility was going to start taking in COVID patients, and I actually got onto RVs for Indies and got connected with a wonderful couple that delivered us an RV to use during the quarantine phase and the COVID and everything, and actually ended up having to spend about 2 weeks out in the RV being quarantined because I was exposed to a COVID patient unknowingly. And that was really, really, really hard because not only was it me being away from the children, which a lot of times moms are the ones that kind of keep everything together and do all the holiday planning and everything. And the time I was in the RV was actually one of my children's birthdays and Easter. And so it was really hard to watch them go and, hunt Easter eggs from a window. But my kids were so awesome. As soon as when we got the RV, they came in and they decorated it and they stocked it full of food and they made signs out front. And my husband took videos of my kids, and even my oldest, he sends me a video. When are you coming back? Because we really missed you, Mom. So it's been hard, but I think we've really pulled together as a family and taken care of everything. And if we can get through this, like, we can get through anything now. But the quarantine it's been really hard. We've not only had the quarantine, but we've also had loved ones that we've lost during it. Funerals and memorial services that we haven't been able to go to. The kids have been, with not being able to see their biological families. It's been hard. It's been a hard process and hard on everyone. And the visits, going from in-person visits to now phone visits, it's been a little bit easier because we can plan around them a little bit. But it's also been challenging because little ones like to throw phones, and we've actually gone through 2 cell phones now with broken screens. So, but it's been doable.
Gotcha. So, Sam, you had to be Mr. Mom for 2 weeks with her in quarantine. What did you learn? What was that like, all of a sudden taking on all of that? I'm sure you're very actively involved already, but it's just a different role? What did that look like?
It's a lot of work. Trying to juggle doing that, being in the home with the kids and managing my own job as well, figuring out a way to balance the two. Luckily, we were able to make sure certain things were sort of organized on a timeline, make sure laundry was always going because our washer dryers are probably getting ready to quit on us. They're just literally going to say, we're done. Here's our pizza. We just stayed focused on doing everything we could do. Luckily, having the teenagers in the home, they actually helped out quite a bit as well. The oldest,
our older kids really have stepped up to the plate, and they wake up in the morning, they've all asked to start cooking, and so everybody has their own day to cook, and it's been awesome. So as long as we can find enough food to feed all of us, which has been another issue, and we ended up having to get a big old deep freezer just to store enough so we're not going to the grocery store every day. So
right, less exposure to that.
That's so fun. Yes. Do you guys have like an extra deep freezer?
Yes. Yeah. At one point in time, I had to take all of my older kids, give them all money, and tell them just get in line behind me, and everybody get a gallon of milk. Yep.
So that was actually you guys segued perfectly. My next part of this is we like to do some selections. I think a lot of people don't quite get the scale of being a foster parent to that many kids. So how many gallons of milk do you go through in a week?
On an easy week, I would estimate maybe 4.
Yeah.
4? Okay.
On an easy week. In other words, a week that the milk just isn't disappearing constantly.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I'm sure it's also different with kids cooking now because, we have accidents.
Yeah. That happens quite a bit.
Okay, so...
we're not having rice. I just burnt it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. But they're learning, which is, one less thing.
Yes, they're learning. And it's awesome. I wake up and, usually the night before, my oldest, he loves to be on the smoker and on the grill. And so he's like, well, how do I prepare this? And, we got him, he's cooked us a beef brisket. He's cooked us some smoked ribs, and he is awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. And if it burns that, it's just char, right? So.
Right, yeah.
That's a good one. I told them a while back when I started teaching a few of them how to do barbecue, I was like, think of it as professional burning.
There you go. That's awesome. So much fun. Okay, so what does the dinner table look like with that many kids? And then you really do, you have two 1-year-olds, I heard, is what you said? So
a
like
1-year-old and a 2-year-old. Yeah.
So how many high chairs? How do you fit it in there? Like, what does that look like?
And the 2 4-year-olds sit in a booster seat. We have just enough chairs around the table to get everybody at the table. And the 1-year-old, she still sits in her high chair that's off to the side of the table a little bit. So.
Yeah. We have a nice farmhouse table, but it's got 2 leaves in it, and the leaves stay in constantly.
Yep.
So, and my we have a little bar stool area, and teenagers love to sit over there. So, but usually because the 1-year-old and 2-year-old like to throw food. So.
That sounds like fun to me. It's every dinner's a food fight. So, okay. So you said laundry goes all the time. How many loads of laundry do you think you go through in, like, let's say a week?
Oh gosh.
We at least go through 5 or 6 a day.
Yeah. Enough to where we're getting a second washer and dryer now.
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Well, that's true because you guys have toddlers, too. So you're talking about messy diapers, blown-out outfits. All of that just has to keep running on. Oh, my goodness.
Statement about how helpful the church has been because recently, even with the COVID thing, they've helped out with some donations, and a big chunk of the donations they sent us is going to the new washer and dryer.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Very cool that you guys have that community around you. Okay. What about transportation? You've got 2 15-year-olds. Are they going to start their driving soon? How do you guys get everybody everywhere? And then all those car seats?
Yeah. So when we only had 5 children, we we sported the minivan and the 7-passenger vehicles, and then we went from a family of 7 to a family of 9, and then that's when I convinced my husband to get the 12-passenger van. So we have a 12-passenger van, but I do have one 15-year-old that has his license already, and teaching him to drive has been so fun. Yeah. A little scary. I need the mom brake pedal on my side, and I definitely have the magnet in the back of the car that says "New driver, be patient." My other 15-year-old was going to get her license, but then all the COVID happened, and so that is on hold until everything opens up, which should be happening here shortly. So
I get so funny that he can't drive my car because it's a company vehicle.
Yeah.
It actually owns the company I work for. So no, you don't get to drive my car.
Yeah.
That's not allowed.
Yeah, and they're afraid to drive the big van. So
there's bonuses there.
My mother's van has scrape marks down the side of it still. There's like, you can point them out from which kid was learning how to drive. That's amazing. Okay, so last question. Well, actually, no, I have one question for Sam specifically. One of the things we talk about often, I did this last week as well, is that a lot of times the hesitation comes from the dads in becoming foster parents. Now, when you started dating her, she told you straight up, we're going to be foster parents. That's just all there is to it. If that doesn't work for you, so be it. But what would you say to dads out there that are kind of hesitant to jump into this journey as it is, being a foster parent?
One of the biggest things for men in their elder ages, as we get up in the years, we always think about a legacy, leaving some sort of legacy. And a lot of people, it's their son or their daughter biologically. But if you can take a kid from a situation that's far worse than you ever would have put them in, and have that kid grow up and become a better person than they were already on a path to be, then you've built your legacy in that child.
Gotcha. Very cool. I like how you put that. Okay, last question. What is your favorite memory thus far being a foster parent? And you can only pick one.
That's really hard. It's only been a year, but okay, go for it.
So many.
Oh.
I'm going either with first Christmas or Caden's birthday. Caden's first birthday.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. My son actually just found out the other day it's the first birthday he's ever had, and it was 3 days after we got him. First birthday party he's ever had, and it was 3 days after we got him. We knew that his birthday was coming up, so I quickly threw together a birthday party. And there's a running theme at my house now that everybody wants a Miss L birthday party, and it was so fun just to see, they just came into this new home, but to see them let loose at a birthday party and just have a fun time and be kids. And we've got wonderful pictures of my oldest making funny faces with a piñata that just did not work out for us. It went down in like the first hit that happened, so nobody really got a good piñata hit out of it. And then just seeing, our family kind of come together around our new family and embrace everybody, because that's been really big with us. Is our family has just embraced all of our children as if they've been here since birth. And so, but yeah, his birthday party was so awesome.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. Okay, so Miss Jessica, do we have any questions coming up in the chat?
We actually have a question about starting the process. So I have somebody that was talking about orientation. Can you tell Sharon, Shalonda, can you tell everybody what the process is now during COVID and how they can go about getting it in an orientation? Are we doing them? Things along those lines?
Sharon, you want to take it?
Yes, we definitely are continuing, and we are having orientation via Zoom. Our pride classes as well as our orientation are offered via Zoom right now due to COVID. You can start out by providing your contact information, and Mr. Jack Foreman, he will give you a call and ask you a couple of questions, get some information, and in turn mail you a packet of information. And then we will look at getting you scheduled shortly thereafter for the orientation. But it's a very, very easy process.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's very easy. Mr. Jack is amazing to talk to either way you go, and we'll get you in and we'll figure out what we need. We do have a high need for Citrus and Sumter counties right now, but we always have a need for foster parents across our circuit, and that's Marion, Lake, Citrus, Sumter, Hernando counties. So the other thing is we just got a lot of commiserating with you guys is that the light bill's crazy, the need for a big passenger van, but those are large families too. So tell us, you guys have 3 sibling groups, correct?
Yeah.
And tell us the age range, because I think you cover every age at this point.
There's a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, 2 4-year-olds, 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 13, 14, and 15.
No, she just turned 15. 215.
Oh, yeah, 15. 13, 15, and 15. Oops.
You guys have everything from just coming out of the newborn stage to almost at the end of the teenage years. That's what's the hardest age? Do you have a hardest age yet?
Currently, it's the 2 4-year-olds. They like to argue about everything, and everything is a competition. But my cousin works for a daycare, and she teaches VPK, and she says that's just normal. I said, really? Somebody should have warned me.
Jessica, I want to ask something that they said about their teenagers and how much of a help they've been. We also have a big need for sibling groups, but also teenagers. And so I can't express how much we appreciate you taking both teenagers and a sibling group, and hopefully we can get more people interested, because the average age of our kids is between 9 and 15 that are available and need placement. And I know you mentioned offline that you've had these kids and a few of them are heading in the direction of adoption, but I appreciate you taking a teenager because they're not so scary, are they? Except for when you're driving in the car with them, but
We were one of the homes that was licensed for 3 children from 0 to 5.
Yep.
And then we got our first call, and that went right out the window. And then the calls just kept coming in, and teens they're not that bad. And I love being able to have conversations with them, real conversations. My favorite time of day is late at night when they want to sit up and talk. Or they've got a lot of emotions that they're just trying to work through, and they look at me and they go, you're the only one that actually listens to my feelings. I love my teenagers. I love them. Didn't think I was going to be a teen mom because they're really so close to my age, and they're my sister's age, but my teens are awesome. And I love that I can go do things with them too.
Yeah.
And I get to have fun.
That's amazing.
Well, I think it's important to point out too that most younger kids come with older siblings. So I'm sure you saw that in your sibling group. They're diverse age, So that's why we ask people to think outside the box,
And that's one of the reasons why when we talked about doing the quarantine conversations, I think overall it was very easy for me in selecting you guys as one of our featured couples, because we do know and look at the fact that you took a chance with your first placement in taking 5 kids, and that ultimately was able to keep the sibling group together. We're always needing families that are willing to take a chance. I think it's also really, really good that you're able to talk about teens. So as stated earlier, you have a gamut from 1 to 15. So it's definitely refreshing hearing that, the teens have somebody that they can depend on during a conversation, and knowing that you're available to do so.
Yeah.
So it's really great.
I just want to remind everybody that they can leave a comment either on the watch party that we have hosted or on the actual live on our Kids Central Facebook page if you have any questions. My question is, what drew you? What called you to foster? What's your favorite part of fostering? And what kind of advice would you have for people that are considering becoming foster or adoptive parents?
Honestly, I would say my favorite part of fostering is getting to know the kid's family. We have actually developed really, really good relationships with their parents, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents. We've actually had them over for birthday parties. And I mean, we're not even at the end of their situation, you know, where we've really been able to incorporate their entire family. And I've stressed to families that because they're in care doesn't mean that they lose all of you. It just means their love circle has gotten a lot larger now. And that's what I see, you know, even with my own dad that was adopted. You know, shortly before we started the fostering, he found his biological family. And that's what's happened with my family. It's our love circle has just gotten larger, and we've, you know, gotten new grandparents at the age of 30, you know. Not that I am 30, so.
And also, one of the things that I wanted to point out, Mr. and Mrs. Pretty, I think that's a very important part of this process is the biological family. And it's very good that you pointed that out, because a lot of times, you know, kids feel somewhat torn. So seeing that you're able to have a good relationship with the extended family while they're going through this process, I'm sure makes it a lot easier on the children.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, you guys have been so fun to have and to hear your story. I did want you guys to mention how the RV came into play to keep you safe. Did we talk about the RV for
Indies? Yep.
Yeah.
I got on the RVs for Indies and got matched with a lovely couple that delivered the RV to us. And I mean, it's been such a blessing to have a place to know where we both actually come in here after work and we decontaminate before going to our house, because we do have 9 children in our house. During all of this, my brother and his wife and their newborn moved in with us to help out. And so my house is very, very crowded. And then when I was under quarantine, it was great to have a place where I just have peace of mind that my kids are okay, my kids are safe, they're not going to get sick, and I can stay out here and just kind of have mom time for the 2 weeks. It really was. But yeah, RVs for MDs was phenomenal with matching us up with somebody that could help give us that peace of mind.
And I mentioned that because we have an amazing community of care. You guys are part of the Lake Sumter Foster Parent Association. And it's just little items like that that really help our foster adoptive parents, even our kinship families, when they have that community that can really wrap themselves around them and support them. And so I'm so glad to hear that you guys had a community that did that for you. So that's an awesome thing to have. And I want to join in the mom cave, please.
We did not have it in the beginning. And it's just, you know, through everybody, even with us getting our crazy first placement of 5 children, just being wrapped around everybody, because my family is over an hour away and my husband's family is all in Tennessee. So we've really just had our fostering community just kind of wrap around us, and it's been really awesome.
Does anybody else have any questions? They want to know what county you're in. We talked about that. You're in Sumter County, one of our few families in Sumter County. We still always need great families in Sumter. So one of the ways you can get a hold of us is to send us a Facebook message and we'll route you to whoever you need. You can also email info@kidcentralinc.org, and we'll make sure there's also Open Your Heart at kidcentralinc.org. You can give us a call at 352-873-6332, and we'll make sure we get you to the right person. If you're interested in becoming a foster adoptive parent, if you just have questions, well, that's what we're here for. That's why we're having these quarantine conversations. Is not only is it pretty awesome to see how our foster parents have taken on this COVID-19 and our new normal, but it's also a really good conversation. We get to know how they became foster parents and why they do what they do. And so it's really important that we have these conversations and they're open. And we had open houses when we were able to all socially gather. And this is our way of kind of bringing that same idea to you. So if you have those questions, if you're interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. Even send us a comment here on the Facebook page. We'll make sure we get the correct information to you. Shalonda, do you have any final questions or comments?
No, I just want to say thank you to both you and both of you for everything you do for our children and what you've meant for our kids. So we appreciate you.
I second that. Thank you, guys. We want you to know we really appreciate what you do.
Ms. Sharon?
Yes, I wanted to say that we have had to shift how we handle business daily by going to Zoom to teach our classes and to offer orientation. So I did see one of the responses about the Zoom orientation and that they're waiting on class to start. So we are going to be working on the next schedule for the upcoming class. So fear not, we will be able to get you in very soon. We've actually surveyed a couple of families, quite a few families, and they love going through Zoom in the comfort of their own home. So for right now, that's how we will be conducting class. So we look forward to working with the community moving forward. And thank you, Mr. and Ms. Pretty. Your story is very inspiring. We appreciate everything that you've done to help keep the siblings together. That's 3 sibling groups that could have been separated. And, you know, that's something that's near and dear to both Shalonda and my heart, because one of the toughest parts of this job is actually having to separate children. We know that they're traumatized being removed from their parents. So being able to keep them together is something that's very important, and we appreciate y'all's efforts.
Do you guys have any final words or anything you want to leave us with? We really appreciate you guys joining us and telling your story through COVID and through just your journey through becoming foster parents. And now you're the happy family of 9. Like, what an amazing journey. And really, the love on Facebook is pouring in. Just, you guys are inspiring and we love you guys and you're doing a great job. So just know that your community is out there supporting you right now while they're watching you. But do you guys have any closing words or anything you want to say to those out there that may be watching that might want to become foster parents or that already are foster parents?
I kind of do have a short story I wouldn't mind sharing about when we got our first placement and we talked to the licensing specialist who was telling us about it, or whoever it was. I think it was our license, whoever it was. But the decision was made to take in the sibling group of 5 because with them being split up, we were told about the oldest sitting out on the porch of the foster home he was previously in because he knew what time of day the car would drive by that had his other siblings in it. And he would sit out there and just watch them go by. And if that's, I mean, that should be enough right there to let you know how important it is for them to be able to stay together.
Yeah. And I would say if you're hesitant on doing it, nobody is ever ready for kids. Nobody is ever ready to take on 5 kids. So just do it. I mean, you're never going to be fully ready. It's not going to happen. Just take the leap of faith. I promise you, God's got your back. He's had our back the entire way. Every day we say, there's no way we could have done this without our community, without, God just kind of gearing us. So, I mean, just do it.
Well, again, thank you guys so much for joining us and for being an inspiration to a lot of people that are watching this video right now, and keep rocking it. I mean, you guys truly inspire, I'm sure, half the people sitting around you and watching you and doing everything that you're doing each day. And we really appreciate it. And again, if you are interested in becoming a foster or adoptive parent, reach out through Facebook, our website. You can call 352-873-6332 and we'll make sure we get you where you need to be. And I think that's going to end our second quarantine conversations right there on a great note, leaving with a great inspiring story. And we look forward to you guys joining us for the next quarantine conversation. So stay tuned. Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Good evening.